Hey YouTube, how's everybody doing? Speedfree 2010 here. Welcome back to the channel, and I want to welcome you to Grand Theft Auto Online. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday the 13th as I'm this recording, and the general consensus is that the new 2024 summer update's coming out on the 25th. And with that being in mind, I figured I'd go through all my entire car collection, show off my updated garage tour. So hopefully this won't be cut up into parts like the other time. So that being said, I'm gonna start off in my apartment garage right here and go through all of them in order. So I hope you enjoy. If you do, leave a like. Feel free to subscribe, comment below, and check out my Twitter if you want. Anyway, with that being said, let's start the tour. First things first, for the comment section. If you have any questions about any of the cars, please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. This first garage, my apartment garage, all these cars are from day 1 2013 October 1st all the way back on PS3 in purchase order, starting with my Sabre Turbo here and ending with my Turismo R at the very back. The only exception to this rule is the Dinka Akuma here, because this particular spot number 5, has had about 2 cars prior to it. A BF Bifta and a Dinka Ballista Compact in its place. So not counting this one, all of these cars are from late 2013, early 2014. And with that, this is gonna I'll give you guys a quick look of this one, and then I'll go to the next one. So we have my Sabre Turbo here, one of my favorite cars, my LG RH8, my first sports car. Next up we have my Need for Speed The Run cover car inspired Vapid Dominator. Next up we have my metallic yellow C7 Corvette, aka the Inventero Coquette. My blue Dinka Akuma. My Dodge Charger SRT8 sort of inspired Buffalo S. In my opinion, next up we have, in my opinion, the mascot of the Grand Theft Auto franchise, the Bravado Banshee. The Impante Phoenix, which was pretty rare to get on the street and you couldn't buy it back in the day. And next up we have my second supercar in the Pegassi Zentorno, and then following that up is my first supercar that I ever purchased, the Grotti Turismo R. With that being said, that's going to conclude the first garage, and I'll see you guys at the second one. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my second garage, Unit 2 off of Popular Street. Much like my first garage before it, this garage is filled with cars that are also from around 2014 to around early 2015, around the first Heist update. Although also back on the PlayStation 3. Something I forgot to mention in the first garage is all the orders that these cars come in, like the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth. Those are the orders I got these cars in, and those are the orders that they're staying in for the most part. Anyway, starting off with my the first car in this garage, my Dinka Jester R in the style, taking the design stylings from my favorite Hot Wheels car of all time, the MST Suzuka. Next to that we have my Impante Ruiner in the silver and blue. Just wanted to add one to my collection. Next we have my Grand Theft Auto 3 Mafia Sentinel inspired Sentinel XS. And next to that we have my Bravado Gauntlet, also taken from the streets. This one is inspired by both the subtle approach from the the big score from story mode, as well as the Carson GT steel wheels from the original release of Burnout Paradise. Next to that, we have my first motorcycle, the Shitsu Hakachu, however you want to pronounce it, in its fifth spot. And in spots number 6 and 7 are the two cars that I purchased from the first Heist update when they originally came out. The original Karen Kuruma and its armored variant. Next up, we have my my quote-unquote Spyro the Dragon themed Albany Buccaneer, which is sitting next to the Heavy Insurgent, also from the Heist update, as well as the final car from this garage, the Gang Burrito. You know, the AT van that's also from the pack standard Heist, one of the updates. That's gonna do it for this one. I'll show you guys garage number 3. Garage number 3 is actually located in between my arcade and my auto shop right here. And with memory serves me right, this particular garage is from 2000. Every garage from here on out, from this one all the way to the final one, are all garages that I purchased post 2017, because I transferred my PS3 save to the PS4, which I'm playing on right now. First off, we have my favorite motorcycle in the game currently, the Western Nightblade. Next to that, we have my first and so far only lowrider in my personal colors, red and white Fappuccino Custom. Next to that, we have a blast from the past from Grand Theft Auto 4, my Fast and Furious 1 inspired Imponte Dukes. Next to that, we have my two quote-unquote drifter cars prior to the tuners and chop shop update in the Benefactor Schwarzer and the Karen Futo, the original Karen Futo. Next up, we have my second Benny's car in my custom Sultan RS, another custom throwback from GTA 4. Next to that, we have what used to be the second fastest coupe in the coupes class and the only 4-door of its kind, the Lampadati Felon. We have my first purchased SUV in the Huntley S in its midnight blue. We have, next to that, we have the Little Red Corvette in the style of a Corvette Blackfin in the style of a Resto Mod. And next to that, we have my first compact. We have, well, sort of my first compact in the Brioso RA for racing. That's gonna do it for garage number 3. Let's go to garage number 4. My fourth garage is located up here in Marietta Heights, which is not too far from where my second garage is, as you can see on the map. Also, this is also from 2017, for more or less around the summer around that time, I get. Starting off with my ProGen T20 from the Ill-Gotten Gains update, the final update for PlayStation 3, I might add. Next up to that, we have my favorite car, probably my favorite car in this entire garage, my Nissan Skyline R33 inspired Honest Elegy Retro Custom. Next up, we have another favorite bike of mine, the Hakucho Drag, in its matte and flame job. Next to that, we have the Dubachi 770, the only Aston Martin based car that I currently own. Next to that, we have my Lamborghini Huracan inspired Pegassi Tempesta, aka Storm, as you can tell by the license plate, which is a reminder to get me make use of that new license plate creator. Anyway, we have my black ProGen Tyrus as a reference to memories of me playing Need for Speed High Stakes on the PlayStation 1, because that was my go-to car when I would use the GT Championship. Next to that, we have my favorite car from, which is also from the Cunning Stunts update. Both of them. We have the ETR1, which I think should have gotten a re-release of the street car version, or at least with updated customization, in my opinion at least. Next up, we have the first ever sports classic car that I ever purchased, the Pegassi Infernus, based off of my favorite Lamborghini of all time, the Lamborghini Diablo. Kind of wish the louvers had two scoops, that way I can make a Diablo SV out of it, which is my personal favorite. Next to that, we have my Ferrari F40 inspired Gran Turismo Classic, which is one of my go-tos for sports classic racing, and is definitely a car I think you should pick up. And finally, rounding that off, for nostalgia, the Lampadati Viceris. That's gonna do it for garage number 3. On to garage number 5 at Greenwich Parkway by the airport. Garage number 5 is located here on Greenwich Parkway, right by the airport. This one is more or less, I think, around 2018, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong, I think. Anyway, first up, we have my metallic green, my metallic green Dodge Dart based the Class A Tampa, throwback to Ballad of Gay Tony. Next up, we have my Spyro the Dragon inspired Progen GTB Italia GTB Custom with the purple exterior with the yellow interior. Next up, we have the Truffaut Nero that I actually was inspired from the PS2 version of Spy Hunter for some reason, at least Spy Hunter 1. Next up, we have the Vapid Riata, aka the Ford Bronco concept at the time, inspired by the urban camo outfit that I was sort of wearing around. I think I made a gun running outfit based off of the color schemes. Next to that, we have the X80 Proto, a car that had been on my wish list even before I had transferred over, that I just bought for nostalgia and I still keep for it. Then next up, we have number 6 is the car we drove up in, my Miami Vice / Vice City inspired Guardi Cheetah Classic, another one of my go-tos for sports classic racing. Next up, we have the criminally underrated Ocelot XA21, seriously great engine note. Next up, we have a Ferrari Zizri inspired Guardi Vision, good looks, great engine note. The wheels, I painted with the now outdated iFruit glitch through the phone that was actually available. And next up, we have, I think this was a Christmas car in the Albany Hermes. I believe this was a 2018 Christmas car, if memory serves me right. And last but not least, we have another go-to of my Supers class for racing, and probably one of my favorites to go racing with, being the Overflood Autark. Next up, we are moving to my office garage. And this is where things are actually going to be a bit different in terms of vehicle placement. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first of the 3 office garages. Remember how I said earlier how this is where things are going to change? Well, instead of being going from right to left, in which the order that these cars would come in, basically if you would take a car and bring it to an office garage, it would normally spawn in this spot and go from right to left. However, here in these garages, these are the only ones that have been reordered from left to right. So starting with my Camacho and ending with my Ubermacht Sentinel Classic right over there, each floor has been organized from left to right in terms of purchase order. So the car on the far left would be the first one. So the Camacho would be the first car I purchased. followed by my race bred Ocelot Pariah afterward, then my Comet SR, my Bravado Banshee, my Dale Earnhardt Sr. inspired the Class A Hot Wing Saber, and then followed by my another GTA 3 inspired Ubermacht Sentinel Classic. And then after that it's basically the same thing. So basically all these cards are in order from left to right in terms of purchase order. And also this is also the only one where the only garages where some of the cars that I quote unquote purchased I actually ended up winning from the lucky wheel in the casino. But for the most part all of these cars have been bought with my own money. They've been bought with my own money. The only free ones up here is the Nagasaki Hot Rod Blazer and the final car up top, which we'll get to. We have my Dominator GTX, which I still have even though it sucks. The Vapid Flash GT rally car, Nagasaki Hot Rod Blazer, the Dinka Jester Classic, which sucks in the performance department, but looks really good in my opinion. We have a go-to for one of my go-tos for stunt racing in the Truffaut Nero Custom. Another one of my go-tos for muscle car racing in the Pisswasser Vapid Dominator. And next up we have the what I call the Chameleon, my Dubachi Wagner. This one, for those of you that have been subscribed to me, me and a friend of mine called the Peach Tube, who's on PS5 right now, me and him and the friends would get together and we would do Hot Wheels accelerators races. And the last time I call that car the Chameleon because for every time we had to do a team race involving supercars, that's the car that I would go to, and we would have to change colors depending on the team that we represented, aka why I call it the Chameleon. Anyway, rounding off the top floor we have my Midnight Blue Resto Mod Impaler, my Pegasi Toros SUV, a Vapid Clique, the Vapid Clique muscle car, aka I think this is the 2019 Christmas gift. I'm not entirely too sure. I can't remember off the top of me. My quote unquote Cinder the Dragon themed Mercedes-Benz AMG GT in the style of the Benefactor Schlagen GT. My quote unquote street legal Apocalypse Vapid Imperator from Arena War, the only one from Arena War that I have. My Colombian Cartel GTA 3 inspired Vapid Cara 4x4. And rounding off garage number 1 is Kinda Music's BF Weevil, the free one. That's gonna do it for garage number 1. I'll show you garage number 2. So all of these cars, with the exception of the Weevil and the Hot Rod Blazer, these are cars that I think I ended up buying. No, I think I either got them on sale or I think I won. I think I ended up winning the Mamba, I think, but all the other ones I bought. Now to go to garage number 2. Alright, now garage number 2, same deal, all cars in purchase order from left to right for each floor. The only difference between the previous garage and this one is what makes this garage special is this is the garage where I actually started recording my car customization videos. So every car starting with my Gauntlet Classic all the way to my final car has had its own separate video in terms of customization, going back all the way to 2019 at the latest. This Gauntlet Classic is inspired by a Resto mod, by my Resto mod looks, as well as Driver 1, at least the Chevelle from Miami. Next to that, we have my Torino red and carbon fiber themed Gauntlet Hellfire, probably my favorite, one of my favorite muscle cars in the game, and probably my favorite car in this garage. Next up, we have my blue Rebla GTS, currently the closest thing we have to a Jeep Trackhawk in this game. Next up, we have the criminal, in my opinion, an underrated car, the VSTR, aka the Cadillac CTS-V Gen 3. Wish it had a supercharger, that way it'd be complete. The Invatero Coquette D10, aka the current C8, and the only F1 racer that I have in the Formula Open Wheeler, that I currently have in the Declasse DR1. And also, this is also the only one of the few garages where some of the cars that I have, I actually ended up winning from the casino. Can't remember which ones off the top of my head though, but I think the Lampadati Tygon here is one of them. This beautiful yellow. Next up, we have the Dinka Ballista Canjo in the style of Pizza Boy from Twisted Metal 4, one of my favorite games. Next up, we have the Dinka Sugoi in a metallic silver in the style of that of a Civic Type R, the way I built it. Next up, we have the Honest S80RR race car, the Lampadati Komoda in this beautiful red, probably my favorite looking, probably still a good looking car, albeit I think it could have used a bit more power in the Audi based Obey 8F Drafter. And then we have the Dinka Vito Classic go-kart rounding off this floor. Top floor, we have, oh, come on again, don't start slowing on me now. Okay, top floor, we have my Resto mod inspired Imponte Beater Dukes, my GTA San Andreas inspired Karen Sultan Classic from Diamond Casino Heist, my second gen Eclipse in the Penumbra FF, my Bantu Penumbra FF, a solid driving experience in the Pegazi Caruso, the only car that I actually like without a roof. One of my go-to racers for currently my go-to racing for supercar racing overall in the Progen Emirates. An underrated car I use for stunt racing in the Guardi Itali RSX. Now this one I ended up winning directly from the wheel, and I highly suggest you try to do so too, because getting the trade price for this is not worth it. So either buy it full price or just try to win it from the wheel. And then we have another truck that I kind of use for muscle car racing in the Yosemite, in the Declasse Yosemite. That's gonna do it for this one. And now we go on to my third office garage that is also currently a work in progress in my tuner's garage. That being my tuner's garage. And now we come to the final of my my garages, my quote-unquote tuner's garage. All of these cars, with the exception of the one after the Ubermax Cypher on the top floor, all these cars are from the Los Santos Tuners update from 2021. With the exception of the Honest Remus here, if I remember correctly, I think I ended up winning this from the prize ride. All of these cars I ended up buying. And all these cars, as I just said, are from the tuners class. My honest remix here is actually inspired from two cars. My dad's old Acura Legend that he used to have, I think it was an 89, if memory serves me right, with the white and gray. Also the S13 Sylvia that I used to drive in Gran Turismo 1. We have my 370Z Nismo inspired Honest Euros. My quote unquote sleeper in the Audi in the Obey Tailgater S. We have one of my go-tos for racing in the tuners class in the Calico GTF. Be careful, this car's got a lot of acceleration but very noticeable understeer. Yep, I'd have two cars just to have in the Dinka RT3000, aka the Honda S2000 Coupe. And next up, we probably have one of my favorite ones, my Porsche 993 Turbo S inspired Pfister Comet S2. That's gonna do it for the first floor. Up to the second floor. Next up, we have another one of my go-tos, probably my favorite go-to for racing in the tuners class, the Jester RR. Next up, we have a resto-modded version of the Boss 302 Mustang in the Dominator GTT. Next up, we have probably currently my favorite Dominator in the Dominator ASP, a hybrid between a Ford Mustang GT with the body kit of that of a Saleen S281, my personal favorite. Next up, we have my Hot Wheels 24/7 first edition inspired Honest ZR350. Next up, we have my two Lexus twins, the first one being the Emperor Vector in the Lexus RCF, and the Lexus SC400 in the hold on, the name escapes me right quick. Hang on. It is the Karen Previan. Excuse me. Rounding that off, we have my Cayman GT4 inspired Pfister Growler. And with that, let's go up to the top floor and wrap this up. And with that, rounding this off, we have my metallic racing blue BMW M2 in the Ubermacht Cypher. And that's gonna end off the actual tuners. Now, these next three cars, the Empante Ruiner ZZ8, the 4th Gen Firebird, seriously my favorite, the Honest 300 ZX from Drug Wars, and the Fathom FR36 from Chop Shop. These three cars and all the other cars after this one, these are cars that, while they are not in the tuners class, these are cars that I personally think could, or should I say should have worked in the tuners class. That I think could have worked as a tuners class one day if they would implement them. But anyway, that's gonna do for my massive garage, and then I'll see you in the next one. My quote-unquote garage, after this one, this is just my facility. This is where I keep my weaponized vehicles, and as you can see, there's only two of them, my Deluxo and my Scramjet. I have three. The third one is the Toreador. Is my Toreador that came out with Cayo Perico heist. But that one, I'm not gonna pull out because I keep that one in my Kosaka, and I really don't want to just summon it just to show off just one car. So that's gonna do it for this one. Now let's go to my next garage. Alright, next up on the list is my agency garage. Now, with the exception of two cars being swapped in the Baller ST that I just drove up in and the Buffalo STX, all of those cars in their spaces, when you see them, those are their permanent homes. The only ones that I ended up switching was the ST from the, which was the free Christmas car, and the Buffalo STX on the second floor, which is the actual first car that I built from this particular DLC, at least. So this one I took inspiration from Chicago PD. Next up we have the Chincamelia in the sedans class, a beautiful sounding and a driving car. The Pfister Astron. The next we have the Pfister Astron. Couldn't find a really good color, so I decided with the orange. Next up we have the standard Pegassi Ignis, a Lamborghini Scion. Next up we have the Enus Deity. It's smooth. It's not as fast, but it looks good. Next up we have the SSC Tuatara inspired Overflood Xeno. Next we have my favorite car, currently my favorite supercar. I think that came out of the contract or something. I can't remember the DLC off the top of my head. Next up we have my favorite out of this garage, the Torero XO. If it only had a bit more grip, I think it would have been perfect. Next up, my another go-to for grip racing, the Benefactor LM87, excuse me. My quote-unquote unmarked cop car Men in Black inspired Bravado Greenwood. After that, just a standard silver SM722 from Benefactor as a Hot Pursuit 2010 reference. It's a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010 reference. Next up we have the Class A Dragger, an off-roader. We have my Chevy SS inspired the Class A Z01. Kinda wish it was a SS that we could turn into both the Z01 and the Z28. We have my cyberpunk themed / Roxanne Wolf colored Western Weaver. One of the security contract inspired Nagasaki the name keeps Nagasaki Shinobi, the ninja. Next up we have Dr. Friedman's Ocelot Virtue. The only free electric supercar from playing First Dose and Last Dose missions. Next up we have my twin turbo Audi R8 inspired 10F from Obey. Next to it we have the my quote-unquote Sindaco Argento inspired Ubermacht Reinhardt from Liberty City Stories, at least in terms of inspiration. Next up we have and finally wrapping those up, we have two cars that have been inspired from cars that two of my family members own. The first is the Tahoma Coupe. The customization of that, I took inspiration from my dad's 79 Oldsmobile Cutlass that he showed me pictures of, at least in terms of the dark blue. And technically the Monte Carlo is the closest we have to that particular Oldsmobile Cutlass at the time. And then after that we have the Class A Tulip M100 from Drug Wars. That one's a Chevy Malibu that my Uncle Nate actually owned in real life, and this is just my personal interpretation on it. That being said, we're almost done. We just got my auto shop and my arena workshop left to go. And alright, second to last, we have my auto shop garage. We have my Crazy Taxi inspired Willard Eudora, probably one of my favorites in here. My NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series inspired Karen Tahoma, not Karen Everon Hot Wing, the my Batu Monstrosity, Guati Stinger TT. Seriously, this car is probably my favorite. My Bravado Hot Wing, my Turismo El Maggio, another favorite of mine. The current Dominator GT from Vapid, which, if a hardtop ever comes out, I'm just gonna rebuild it with a hardtop and just not make a video on it if they have the same parts. We have my sweet Johnson Greenwood inspired Impanta De Classy Impaler LX. Up next we have my personal Impaler SZ if I were to own one. And then next up, after the chop shop, we have my all gold painted Cadillac Escalade in the Albany Cavalcade XL. And with that being said, let's just hold on to my last garage that I'm currently in progress. And with that, we've arrived to my final current in progress garage. Rounding this off, we have my Akira Toriyama tribute card in the Kanna's Terminus in the orange and blue that my favorite anime character of all time, Son Goku, used from Dragon Ball. My tribute to late great Akira Toriyama. And after that, we're rounding this off with currently my favorite card, the Chop Shop DLC, and a card that I really love, that I'm loving pretty much almost every day, that I kind of used to go after payphone hits. My unmarked Bravado Gauntlet Interceptor. And with that, that's gonna do it for my garage tour pre 2024 summer DLC. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and feel free to leave me any questions or comments in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer about the cars. I'll see you guys when the DLC drops. Other than that, I wish you all a safe day wherever y'all are watching, and I hope y'all take care. Laters.